Up until 1914, using an airplane for anything other than reconnaissance was considered a war crime. But that all changed in World War I, as pilot Craig Schmidtman explained.
The first weapons used were things like pistols and shotguns and rifles. Then the machine gun found its way onto combat aircraft. They were not very easily mounted. They would often fire from rearward positions. And finally, developments came into being where they mounted them on the upper wing to fire above the arc of the propeller.
Sounds pretty hard to aim that way, doesn't it? We asked museum curator Howard Fisher what these young pilots did to keep from spitting in the wind, so to speak.
It got to the point where people realized that the best way to use the airplane as a military weapon was as a gun platform with a machine gun firing straight ahead.
Well, sounds reasonable to me. So, what's the problem?
One pilot, Roland Garros, who was a French pilot, would just shoot through the propeller and let the hits fall where they may. Studies showed that 25% of the time he would hit his own propeller.
Well, that is a problem.
So he invented a shield that was at a 45 angle, and he put it on both sides of the propeller exactly where the bullets would hit.
Unfortunately, the Garros wedge, as it was sometimes called, deflected some of the bullets into the cockpit and right into the pilot. They needed a way to shoot through the propeller without splintering the blade, and they needed it fast. Finally, in July of 1915, a young Dutch aircraft designer named Anthony Fokker solved the problem. He devised a mechanism called the interrupter gear, which he installed on his company's airplanes.
Well, it's demonstrated right here with this famous Fokker-Eindecker, which was the first aircraft to use an interrupter gear to allow this to happen. The propeller and the engine revolved, and there is a plate with a cam on it, and this cam hits this rod. The force then is transferred to the trigger of the machine gun, and when the propeller is in front of the machine gun cannot fire.
This technology revolutionized combat and created a whole new type of weapon, the fighter plane.
Firing the guns is a three-step process. First thing you have to do is cock the weapon. After that, you reached up and you pulled the ring down, which engaged the rod that rode up and down on the cam, causing the system to interrupt the rate of fire of the gun so that you didn't shoot the propeller off. Then as you're flying along, all you need to do is push the trigger, and away you go.
Thanks for clearing that up, boys.